Pause, think, structure, prioritize, and then answer. So that's really important. If you don't know, be honest, because that's a quality everybody is looking for. Be honest and say you need to read up more about it or you need to learn more about it. It's not important how many questions you answer. It's important what you answer, how you answer that particular question. This is a personality test. It's not a test of pure knowledge. You need to be brief and to the point. There is no merit in being verbose, in telling them everything you know. You're entitled to form your opinion finally for or against. But it's important to know both sides of the picture and articulate both sides of the picture. Good afternoon, everyone. There are a couple of things I'd like to say to candidates who are appearing for the interviews for the CSE this year. I've been sitting with the candidates and discussing many things, interviewing them also. And a couple of things I've noticed which I would like to share with everybody. First of all, as you all know, but somehow it doesn't get internalized all the time, that this is a personality test. It's not a test of pure knowledge. But having said that, there is a lens of certain knowledge which should be there through which the personality is tested. And that is basically your DAF, current affairs, your areas of interest, things you should know, your optionals. So this is where you would need to prepare. One point I've noticed that a lot of candidates are very hesitant to admit they don't know. So they'll try to beat about the bush, they'll try to say something they know, not really on the point. So that's really important. If you don't know, be honest, because that's a quality everybody is looking for. Be honest and say you need to read up more about it or you need to learn more about it. And what you do know, you say upfront. Secondly, a lot of people, when they know also, they just blurt out what they know. It's not important how many questions you answer. It's important what you answer, how you answer that particular question. So I would say that when you ask a question, particularly an opinion question, you must first of all pause. You can ask the board, can I pause a moment? Pause, think, structure, prioritize, and then answer. And if you're answering in points, it's always good to say, okay, I'd like to say in 2 points or 3 points. And remember to say the most important one first. Because should you be interrupted, should there be lack of time, or should the board move on, they'll give you benefit of doubt and they will say he knew the answer or she knew the answer, but we maybe didn't give her so much time. But if you just ramble and say the first thing you know, then that may not be the most important thing. And the opportunity is lost to say the most important. So it's really necessary to structure your thoughts and come out articulately. A couple of areas where, the other thing, you need to be brief and to the point. There is no merit in being verbose, in telling them everything you know. And you will realize, all of you who will get selected, and I'm sure a large number of you will, the higher you go up the pyramid, the more succinctly you've got to make your point. You've got to learn to say your point very, very briefly. Come to the pith, to the core of it, and that's enough. The board will say he or she knows, and they won't push the point further. You must prepare current affairs. A lot of candidates say they didn't have time to read the papers. You know, what is being looked for is a candidate who is aware of events that are happening around him or her and has enough knowledge and to be able to is able to form a view about it. So you must read newspapers. As I said, you must prepare your DAF, you must prepare your optionals, your fields of interest, and offshoots of things in your DAF. It's a good idea to prepare data points. I mean, those who have time, who have less time could look at less points. Those who have more time could look at preparing more number of items. So go through the newspapers and select issues. Make bulleted points on those issues and keep updating it as the news pans out. For example, Gaza today, or say it is a docking mission in the space mission, or things like that. So you keep updating. Prepare pros, prepare cons, and prepare an opinion. This is also very important because sometimes what happens is if you just come to a straight opinion, the board member may take an opposing view and then you may either be led into an argument or you have to retreat. So it's a good idea. Also, what is being looked for is a person who has the ability to see both the points of view and then after that to analyze it and take an informed, balanced decision. So therefore, both points of view must be known to you, must be articulated by you. And secondly, it also helps you in getting out of a tight corner during the interview itself. Now, there are a couple of questions. I'll just deal with a sample 3-4 questions which I have observed in speaking with various candidates, where I feel that perhaps a point needs to be made. One of them is regarding the UCC. So this is just a random sample I'm taking. There are so many other questions like this. So what is normally said is that there is need for integration and a uniform code, and it's better protection of women. But the con side of it is, as far as live-in relationships are concerned, there is an invasion of privacy, no doubt. And if anybody has looked at the state, what is being put forward by the state which is going in for it, there's a registration, you've got to give past relationships, you've got to give your photographs, and anybody can file objections to it, even to a live-in. So that issue is there of personal space and privacy, and the very idea of a live-in is somehow caught up if you are going to structure it like the same requirements as for registration of marriages. Secondly, also what's important in a UCC is to look at what is included and what is not included. So these are things that I would have looked at. I mean, you can look at it your own way. You're entitled to form your opinion finally for or against. But it's important to know both sides of the picture and articulate both sides of the picture. Another question that comes up is one country, one election. And immediately the answer comes, yes, it should be there. And it says, oh, it's a saving of money, it's a saving of the government machinery, and we are always in election mode, so model code of conduct is always there, development is hampered. This is where the argument, the hypothesis ends. But then if the board member wants to take the other point of view, and there is another point of view, which is that different elections, the issues are different. For example, local election issues will be different. State election issues will be different. National election issues will be different. So when the two are together, the state issues or the local issues will get subsumed into the national issues. That's just a fear or just a thought that comes through. Secondly, also somebody may say that why stop just at the parliament and the election assembly? You can go, why not do the municipalities and the panchayats? So what if it needs a constitutional amendment? Everything means you can do it. Then you're really saving money. Thirdly, what about the MCC? Actually, if you see, how long is it in force in a particular place? It's normally less than 2 months. So, and now even the Supreme Court for the central budget, union budget, it has said that you can have proposals, even though Delhi is going for election just a few days later, there should be no city-specific provisions in it. So it's a very broad mandate given by the honorable courts also. So therefore, there are two sides of the picture. Again, I'm not suggesting that you take this viewpoint or that viewpoint. It is for you to decide which one you want to take, but it should be an informed opinion, fully aware of their two sides of the picture. That is the point. Then on the economy, mostly people give supply side interventions, interest rates, land, labor rationalization, taxation, interventions, incentives, etc. But it's important to give these, of course it's important, but really we have a sluggish demand. So it's important to give the demand side interventions and get the balance clear. So this is the other point. A lot of candidates on the economy, they forget to talk about the demand side. And today we are facing a sluggish economy, which is why private investment is sluggish. I think broadly, there's another issue that is in the news these days, of course, of temporary currency, which is the statement of the chairman L&T regarding the 90-hour week. So a lot of students say that, he's implying that, the candidates say that he's implying that sit at home and do nothing. But the implicit argument within that, one is of course that you're not giving time for anything. How can you just work like a machine? There has to be a quality of life also, work-life balance. But the other more important issue is, it is not a very gender-sensitive remark, in the sense that are women there to sit at home and be stared at? That's all. The wives are to be stared at. So it's just, this is somehow, memes are going all over the place, and it's in a lighter vein, it's all over social media. But the undercurrent of the issue is the gender sensitivity. So what I'm simply trying to say is that you need to make sure that you go one behind the real reason behind something. Second, you need to give both sides of the picture. And third, you form an opinion and say for these cogent reasons. If the member gets into an argument with you, but takes a opposite viewpoint just to test you how you hold your own, then a good idea is to put your viewpoint. You already said the pros and cons. So you're alive to both sides of the picture. And you also said, for these reasons, I prefer this approach. So then when the member says, then don't enter an argument. You say, yes, with your better, with your better experience and knowledge, I'm sure that I have a lot to learn also. I think that this is a very quick cut thing, and all of you are bright people who made it so far, and I wish you all the very best.